Tonight, we're doing something a little different. We're not just going to review a book, we're going to open a door. You see, this isn't just a collection of stories, it's really an invitation to experience a whole philosophy of fear, one curated by the master of cosmic dread himself, H.P. Lovecraft. So let's turn the key together and see what's on the other side.
And we're starting right at the source, with what Lovecraft believed was the bedrock of all horror. He argued that our deepest, most primal emotion isn't fear of, say, spiders or the dark. Nope. It's the fear of the unknown. And that one idea right there is the key that unlocks every single story in this anthology.
Okay, so to really get what this collection is all about, we first have to wrap our heads around a very specific and, frankly, unsettling kind of fear. This isn't your average jump scare horror. This is cosmic horror.
So what is cosmic horror? Well, it's not about a ghost jumping out of a closet. It's that slow, creeping dread that comes from a single, terrifying realization that in this gigantic, infinite, and completely indifferent universe, humanity is, well, fragile, meaningless, just a tiny, cosmic accident.
And this is a really crucial distinction. You know, most horror stories have a kind of moral compass, right? It's good versus evil, humans versus the monster. Cosmic horror just throws that whole rulebook out the window. It replaces the fear of something evil that hates you with the much deeper terror of a universe that doesn't even know you exist.
All right, enough theory. Let's dive into the stories themselves and see how these writers actually use this philosophy to create that deep, lingering sense of dread that just sticks with you.
First up, we've got a masterpiece from 1887, The Horla, by Guy de Maupassant. The story is told through the diary of a man who becomes absolutely convinced that some kind of invisible being is slowly, methodically taking over his life, his sanity, his very soul.
And this quote just gets right to the terrifying heart of it. The narrator isn't just fighting some random monster. No, he's witnessing the dawn of a new dominant species. He's realizing that humanity's time at the top of the food chain is over. It's horror on an evolutionary scale.
The Horla really taps into the anxieties of its time. Think about it. Darwin's theories were new, science was changing everything, and this story asks this deeply unsettling question. What if evolution isn't done? What if something else has arrived, not to fight us, but to just replace us?
Okay, so next up, from an invisible monster to something even more mind-bending, let's look at The Damned Thing by Ambrose Bierce. In this story, the creature isn't just invisible. It exists in colors and shapes that our human senses literally cannot process.
This idea is just chilling. The story suggests that what we call reality is just the slice our limited biology lets us perceive. And what about all the stuff that exists in the gaps? The colors we can't see, the sounds we can't hear? What if something lives there? And what if it's not exactly friendly?
And that's the thing, right? How can you possibly fight that? It's not a problem you can solve with a weapon. The horror becomes completely existential. You're not just being hunted. You're being attacked by a piece of reality you are fundamentally unequipped to even perceive.
Finally, let's talk about a story that Lovecraft himself called one of the most tremendous horror stories ever written. We're talking about The Upper Berth. And this one is different because the horror isn't really a creature, it's a place.
The horror here is all about the atmosphere. It's suffocating. It's that unnatural chill in a locked cabin, that constant, oppressive dampness, and the feeling of a presence, all while you're in a tiny room on a vast, empty ocean. It's a fight against something with no name and no shape, just a terrifying, smothering intent.
This story pretty much argues that the most profound kind of horror isn't a monster you can actually look at, but an atmosphere that just consumes you. It taps into that primal fear of being trapped and isolated with some thing, suggesting that what you can't see is way, way more terrifying than what you can.
So, after taking these glimpses into the abyss, after seeing these different faces of the unknown, what's the final, chilling lesson that this collection is trying to teach us?
This is it, the ultimate takeaway. The universe was not made for us. Our entire existence, everything we've ever done or ever will do, is just a brief, accidental flicker in an eternity of darkness. I mean, that's a profound and deeply disturbing idea designed to completely dismantle our sense of our own importance.
And this quote, even though Lovecraft was talking about another writer, it just perfectly captures the sheer scale of that vision. We're not talking about one haunted house on one street.
We're talking about infinite dimensions, forgotten worlds, a universe just teeming with things that would paralyze you with fright. So when you boil it all down, this kind of horror isn't just trying to make you jump. It's trying to shatter your entire sense of safety in the universe. It's showing you that your rules don't apply, that your existence is just an afterthought, and that some truths are so vast, so alien, that they can only break your mind.
Okay, let's step back from the edge of the abyss for a moment and actually assess the effectiveness of this whole descent into darkness.
So here's the bottom line. For a reader who is actively seeking that genuine philosophical chill, does this anthology actually succeed? Does it really make you feel humanity's terrifying insignificance?
The answer is a resounding yes. For its sheer power to create a lasting philosophical unease that stays with you long after you've closed the book, we're giving this experience a cosmic dread score of 9.5 out of 10. It is an absolute masterclass in existential terror.
And if you want to descend even further into this void, Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher, which is also in this collection, is perfect for exploring psychological decay. And if you really want to mess with your head, The King in Yellow by Robert W. Chambers is about a play so reality-bending it drives its readers to madness.
For more explainers that dive deep into the most complex and fascinating topics out there, you know what to do. Be sure to follow and subscribe.
We'll leave you with one final thought to chew on. Once you've been truly exposed to these ideas, once you've felt that cosmic indifference for yourself, the world may never look quite the same again. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most terrifying lesson of all.